the section on operation. Are you exhausted yet? You guys know this stuff. Go back to ISO 9001-2008, Section 7. It's now called Section 8. It's called operation. Let's go through it. We're going to go break it down so that we understand what's going on. Now, I'm only going to really address the changes, but I'll remind you of some of the base requirements. Okay, let's go. Okay, first things first, let's break down this whole section on operation. There are 7 subparagraphs, but they're big ones. 8.1, operational planning and control. 8.2, requirements for products and services, otherwise known as sales. 8.3, design and development of products and services. 8.4, control of externally provided products and services, otherwise known as purchasing. 8.5, production and service. 8.6, release of products and services. 8.7, control of non-conforming outputs, products, and services. From the top, 8.1, operational planning and control. A new requirement is to control plan changes and review the consequences of unintended changes, taking actions to mitigate any adverse effects or risk. Next section, 8.2, requirements for products and services, otherwise known as sales, very similar to 7.2, but reorganized to consider internet and catalog orders that don't require extensive review. It gets broken down to 8.2.1, customer communication. And there are new specific requirements for contingency actions when relevant associated with communication. Then 8.2.2, determine your requirements. 8.2.3, review of requirements, retained information of your review, and how you handle your changes. The next section, 8.3, design and development, very similar to the previous revision of the standard, but some new titles. Design and development planning, design and development inputs, design and development controls, which includes the review process, design and development outputs, design and development changes. There's emphasis on customer interaction, and they've added under planning, including the nature, duration, and complexity of the design and development activities, and they included under input the potential consequences of failure due to the nature of products and services. Next section, 8.4, externally provided processes, products, and services, otherwise known as purchasing. Very similar in nature. Define the type and extent of control. Look at the information that's provided to external providers. This is typically our purchase order. And then retained documentation. 8.4.1 addresses drop shipping. We know this is high risk. Make sure it's included in your risk matrix. 8.4.2 includes consideration for the potential impact to meet all requirements, and also the effectiveness of the controls applied by the external provider. Remember, terms like suppliers and outsourcing are no longer used, so you won't see them referenced in the standard. They're using the term externally provided processes, products, and services. Here's the heavy hitter one, production and service provision. Again, there's a lot of the same requirements that we're used to, but there are some new ones that we have to pay attention to. We need documented information associated with the product or service. We need to provide suitable monitoring and measuring resources, provide monitoring and measuring activities, the necessary infrastructure and environment. Here's a new one, competent persons, so they provided the link back to the training requirement. Then validation and revalidation of special processes. We need to try to prevent human error. This is new. Then release delivery and post-delivery activities. Still included identification and traceability requirements, property belonging to customers, but they added and external providers, so it's been expanded. Also included are preservation of products and services requirements, post-delivery activities, and here's a new one, control of changes in production. Make sure you have documented information associated with any changes. It has to be controlled. Finally, there's a section on release of products and services. Make sure you have your documented information. 8.7 of this section is for control of non-conforming outputs. This used to be paragraph 8.3 of the previous revision of the standard. Much of the same requirements here, with a few enhancements. We need to identify the non-conforming outputs. Make sure they are managed and controlled. We want to prevent unintended use or delivery. And we want to take action, including on post-delivery product and services. We want to apply correction at all times. We want to make sure that the outputs are segregated, contained, and we may consider return or suspension of provision of products and services. We want to make sure we inform the customer when it has to do with a customer-specific requirement. We want to obtain the authorization for acceptance under concession if it's a customer-specific requirement. And upon correction, meaning upon rework, we need verification of conformity or reinspection. That's it for operations. I know it was a little bit dry, but we're used to this, right? Again, make sure if you need to go back, re-review the video, look at the PowerPoint, go back to your ISO standard. You got this one. Just make sure you understand the enhanced changes, okay? We're almost done. See you at the next video. Bye.